Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Be me a year or two ago. Environmental cleanup, paintball trip with the school's Navy Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps. We split into two large groups. About 50 to 60 cadets in total. Go off with a group to clean while others get to paintball. Cleaning up trash and shit for about an hour or two, nothing too exciting. Senior cadet whom I look up to comes over the hill. Hey guys, I found something. Me and about 5 cadets split from the rest to investigate what he found. Find an abandoned car, all shot to shit as per typical desert trash, Arizona, by the way. We all decided to check it out. Check the trunk, get blown back by god-awful stench. Look to see grimy rags, brownish-black splotches coating them. Something is under rags. I peel off to puke because of the stench. Senior cadet, with his face in his shirt to block stench, reaches in the trunk, tosses the rags onto the group. He yells and stumbles back. Another cadet looks and then slams the trunk shut. Everyone else asks what they saw. Nothing good, let's get out of here, says the senior cadet. His voice was shaky as hell. We all hike back uphill, everyone but the 2 who looked in the trunk in the lead. The 2 are talking, both look really pale. We all go paintballing later, don't talk about it again. Pack up and leave after 8 to 10 hours of cleaning, paintball. Going back to camp with the same ROTC, minus 2 cadets from the previous trip in 2 days. Should I see if it's still there?
Go for it. I can only imagine what they actually saw. Personally, I'd be too much of a pussy to check if it's still there, but if you're brave enough you should.
I'm gonna take another cadet with me, since I am now a senior cadet that I looked up to and have similar younger cadets who look at me in the same way. I'll take pics and post if the thread is still alive, if I find anything. Well, while I'm still around, I guess I'll post another story of mine. I have too many, from when I was a little kid. Be about 2 to 4 years old, not sure of actual age at this point. Living in New Hampshire, wake up around 1 or 2 in the morning, to get a drink of water. 2-story house, fairly old. I go downstairs to the kitchen. Fill up the cup with water from the tap, well water. Drink as if my life depended on it. Finish. Place the cup on the counter by the sink. Sudden feeling of dread. I also feel like I have excessive weight on my shoulders. Rush upstairs and back to bed, still feeling dread, but the weight is gone. Lay there for what feels like hours without any difference. Suddenly feel tight grip around throat. See nothing that could be grabbing my throat, pass out. Wake up hours later. Throat has small red lines, like little fingers. Tell mom what happened, she doesn't believe it, but takes me to the doctor. Red lines were pressure marks. Another story, fairly recent. Around 2 months ago, seeing new girlfriend. I leave her house around 8 p.m. and head home. Do some homework and fall asleep. Wake up at 11 p.m. check the phone. Text message received 10 minutes ago from girlfriend. It reads, "Baby, I'm so scared, please come see me." Shake the sleep off and reply, "Be over in 20 minutes. Boyfriend mode activated. Walk 20 minutes in the dark through neighborhoods and sketchy park. Arrive at her house, instantly arms wrapped around me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Step inside, instant feeling of discomfort. She felt a hand on her ankle, it pulled her a bit. She freaked out and had been sitting in the kitchen for 10 minutes before texting me. Says she went to see her housemate. The housemate saw white mist behind girlfriend. Points down the hall to my housemate's bedroom. Nut up or shut up. PNG. Approach the room slowly, the door is slightly ajar. Peek my head in. Look around the room, see a form of white sitting on the closet door. Nope. Step back out into the hall, confirm their beliefs. Girlfriend doesn't want to sleep in her house tonight. asks if she can stay at mine. Why the fuck not MP4? Girl F stayed at my house that night, sleeps well. Went back the next night and sat in both rooms for an hour, felt uneasy but saw nothing. Haven't felt or seen anything since. Okay, another story, less paranormal. Walking home from girlfriend's house at 2 or 3 a.m., same as before, smoking a cigarette and making the best of the walk. About 6 minutes from my house I see some dude jump out the window of a house. Da fuck gif. He proceeds to take a bike out of the bushes and is about to ride off. He sees me looking at him. Staring contest engaged. He reaches into his pocket for a moment, then takes his hand out, empty. He rides off into the night. Rush home because I'm scared. Wake up after a refreshing sleep. Some dude was robbing houses last night, apparently he was packing heat. The houses that were hit up were down where I saw that dude climb out of the window.
My parents looked after 2 nieces back in the mid-80s. Nieces are 5 and 6. Parents stay in the small bedroom and let the nieces have the large bedroom. Small bedroom has no door on it. About 11 p.m. parents go to bed. Nieces have already been in bed for some hours. Parents talking. Suddenly I hear nieces talking and giggling. Dad tells my mother to go and tells them to go to sleep because it's late. Mother gets to the bedroom door and listens. Can hear them both still talking and giggling. Out of nowhere a woman's voice starts talking to them. Mother freaks the fuck out and barges into the room. Both nieces completely sound asleep. 6-year-old constantly mentions an old woman she talks to in her room. Auntie and uncle move out and manage to move into an even spookier place. The place they moved on to had some serious shit go on it. I'm also pretty bored, so I think I'm just going to post some about them too. It's definitely the type of place that should have been investigated by someone with a spook-o-meter of some kind. I'll just do the main ones of what I remember, before and after they moved in, and finish it off with the part that totally fucking blew my mind. This could take a couple of posts, but I'm in no hurry. I also come from a big family, so there's a lot of aunties, uncles, cousins, etc. Uncle is dropping my auntie off at home at about 7 or 7:30 p.m. Uncle looks up at her bedroom window and tells her husband mustn't have gone to work or is back early. She tells him he's definitely at work because he left before she went out. Tells her he can see him behind the net at the window. Auntie insists he's not home and wouldn't have come back early because he does a night shift and won't be back until at least 2 a.m. Uncle goes in with her just to make sure it's not some creeper. Goes upstairs armed with a classic tire iron just in case. Bedroom door is slightly ajar. Can hear breathing behind the door. Uncle tells him through the door to stop being stupid and asks why he's not at work. Breathing gets more rapid but no reply. Uncle opens the door and goes in. No breathing, no noise, no one there at all. Small condensation patch on the window. Uncle literally jumps over the landing balcony thing to get away. Auntie won't go with him and totally isn't fazed by his sheer panic. Different one that isn't so spooky as it is animal senses. Stairs have a half landing. Own 2 dogs. Neither will go past the half landing and refuse point blank to go all the way to the top. Anytime someone goes to the toilet, one dog follows. Gets to the half landing. Sits whimpering until whoever has gone in comes back. Try to push the dog upstairs, but it pushes back and whimpers more. Carry dog upstairs. Thrashes like a lunatic until it's put on the floor and runs back downstairs. Having a birthday party for my cousin who's 6. Family friend of my aunt's goes. Start talking about the house and some of the things that happen. Friend tells my aunt she doesn't believe in anything like that and it's just paranoia. Friend goes to the toilet. One of those creepy as fuck toilets in between bedrooms that doesn't have any windows. Light in the toilet goes out. Friend starts shouting to be let out. Dad goes up and tells her to open the door. Tells him she can't and it's unlocked. Door won't budge. Suddenly the door opens. Friend comes out shaking. Light bulb in the bathroom has shattered. Friend went home and never went back. I mean, she could have smashed the bulb herself and sat against the door, but it wouldn't serve any purpose other than to show that her claim of it being paranoia was not paranoia. Later on that night, I'm 6 months old. Obviously have no memory of this. Parents put me to bed in my auntie and uncle's room. Lays me in the middle of a double bed and puts pillows either side so I can't roll off. Half an hour or so later I hear 2 thuds that are slightly different from one another. The bedroom I'm in is directly above the living room. Dad runs upstairs into the bedroom. I'm sitting completely upright in the middle of the floor crying my miniature eyes out. Dad's face when. Cousins are about 8 and 10 by this time and are naturally scared of the spooky goings on. Auntie requests that she wants to move. Estate agent, one who sold her the house, comes out and tries to persuade her otherwise. She tells him it doesn't really bother her, but the children don't like it at all, so she has to move for them. He agrees and tells her he'll sort something out. House was actually in a sought-after area and was massively cheap compared to the others. I probably should have mentioned that before, but fuck it. Estate agent goes back to the house a few weeks later and admits to my auntie that she's not the first to complain about shenanigans going on there that no one can really explain. Tells her he has a buyer lined up, but pleads with her not to tell them anything about what has gone on. They're a nice French couple who have just moved here. Estate agent leaves the house. Auntie gets a phone call from estate agents a couple of days later saying that they're going to send someone else out as her estate agent crashed his car not long after leaving her house and died. I don't think it was actually the crash that killed him. He had a brain tumor or a brain hemorrhage. I can never remember which it actually was. Auntie sells a house to French couple and she moves about 3 streets away. Fortnight or so later, general chit-chat amongst neighbors. Ask my auntie if she heard about what happened down the road with the French couple who ran out of the house in the middle of the night and refused to go back. House was empty for absolutely fucking years afterwards. Mother tells me when she went with my auntie to look at the house, one of the bedrooms just had that feeling of uncomfortableness, and added to that there was an upside-down cross drawn on the wall with rest in price X. I can't remember the name. Wrote inside, and screw holes on the door isn't exactly an advert for happy houses. About 10 to 15 years ago, my auntie, not the one who lived in the house, was at a friend's house and another woman was there who was obviously a friend of my aunt's friend. They were all talking and my auntie asked the woman where she was from. The woman told her where she used to live and had grown up, but now she lives around here. The place she had grown up was directly opposite where my aunt had lived. The conversation carried on and they started talking about when they were kids. The woman started talking about how, when she was younger, there was a boy a few years younger than her with learning difficulties who lived on the opposite side to her. The opposite obviously being where my aunt had lived. She then went on to tell my auntie how the boy's mother wasn't exactly loving. The dad was completely unknown and the mother was known to visit a pub that was a little way up the road in order to meet men who she would take back home. With him having learning difficulties and her not being home, the most sensible option, the mother assumed, was to simply padlock him inside of his room while she was out or when he was misbehaving. She said more than once in the summer he would be at his window while everyone else played outside because he couldn't get out. One day in the summer he was allowed out. He ended up being knocked over on his bike and died at the scene. His mother was seldom seen after that and she moved away. My auntie asked her if she could remember what number he had lived at and she said 119. 119 was the house my auntie had moved into. The thing that made it creepy as fuck was my auntie had never mentioned my auntie ever living there, and the woman had absolutely no reason to lie about such a thing, and even she mentioned that it started getting a reputation as that kind of house. There was more stuff, but it's all really short.
A few weeks ago. Having trouble sleeping all week. Kept jerking awake right as I was on the verge of sleep. Had some bad dreams. Would wake up in a cold sweat. Tell roommates in passing. One roommate is really into shamanism and occult shit. She has some sage, and wants to burn it around my room. Pretty skeptical about it. She's done psychedelics for years and I worry it's messed her head up a little. She burns the sage in my room. Go to sleep that night. Sleep for 10 hours. Wake up feeling great. What bit? I have some more. Be October. Tripping with roommates. We talk about lucid dreaming. My roommate gives me tips on how to get started. Try it that night. Fall asleep almost immediately though. Wake up at 4 a.m. Fall right back asleep. Laying on the side, can't move. See a wrinkly figure with sagging skin standing near my dresser. Look at it. Fear. Oh God, fear like I've never felt. Slightly wiggle my body around as I panic. Feels like I'm bound by ropes. It knows I've seen it. It walks over to me. It trips on my space heater. Wake up and smack my knee against my bedside table. Later find out it's a common sleep paralysis experience. It was really vivid though. Not just a dark figure looming over your bed. It looked like someone who was really fat and got liposuction. You know, like with all that extra sagging skin. B. November. Get home from an EDM electronic dance music show with roommates. Crash in bed. I have a very vivid dream. Walking in my childhood friend's backyard. We used to play there all the time so it was really familiar. Purple light everywhere similar to how the sky gets green before a tornado or hail. My face explodes in pain. I could feel it in dream. Find myself sitting on my ass, unable to move. The figure approaches from the glass door to the house. Can't make out what it looks like, just a dark clothed shape. It walks towards me at a steady pace. I feel panicked. The figure gets all up in my grill. Wake up. Can't breathe out of my nose. Can only open a corner of my mouth. Freaking out in bed because I can barely breathe. Scratch at face to find out what the fuck is wrong. Covered in dried blood. Plugging up my nostrils and gluing my lips together. Get up and run to the bathroom. Almost passed out as I got up. I spent 20 minutes in the bathroom cleaning myself up in a daze. Get back to the room. Sheets where my head lies is covered in dried blood. Sometime last year, in a different apartment, I have the second floor all to myself. Wake up in the middle of the night a few times. See figure leaning out of my bathroom. Can only see half of a torso and head. Startled every time. Before I can do anything I wake up again and it's morning.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.